Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 650 based on novel. So let's start. All the Grand Empyreans on the immortal astral continent were startled. 7 rays of light rushed toward the vast basin from different directions. The 3 rays of light from the ancient clan were extremely fast. On the celestial clan side, the 4 of them remained silent as they rushed forward. However, even with their speed, they would need half a month of time to arrive at the battlefield. After all, the immortal astral continent was simply too large, and they didn't have Wang Lin or Guu Dao's cultivation levels. At the center of the vast basin, where the sea storm was raging, a thunderous rumble echoed across the side facing the ancient clan. The countless balls of fog around Wang Lin exploded, and after they disappeared, blood flowed out from the corner of Wang Lin's mouth. He was knocked back thousands of feet and the light around him collapsed. The fog around Guu Dao completely shattered and let out a miserable scream. It rapidly disappeared along with the fog beast. Once all the fog disappeared, his mysterious face would be revealed. Thousands of feet from Wang Lin, Guu Dao slowly said, "In order to see my appearance, you didn't hesitate to sustain injuries." The fog around him became very thin and only a few strands remained, barely blocking his face. "Since you want to see, then you can take a look. You are the first person to see my appearance in countless years." Guu Dao's body was thin and he was wearing a green robe, but the sleeve on his right hand was missing. His hair was grey, and he was looking at Wang Lin when the fog around his face completely disappeared. Wang Lin also looked at him from thousands of feet away. When the fog around his face scattered, Wang Lin finally got to see what Grand Empyrean Guu Dao looked like. He was not surprised and let out a long sigh. "It indeed is you." Guu Dao remained silent. Wang Lin looked at the familiar face before him and slowly said, "Should I call you Ancient Ancestor, or Guu Dao?" Guu Dao looked exactly like Ancient Ancestor's statue in the 3 capital cities. Or, to be more accurate, your appearance belongs to you. The statues in the capital cities were made according to your appearance. Wang Lin looked at Guu Dao, who gave off an ancient aura. Guu Dao revealed a melancholy expression and slowly said, "I'm Guu Dao, and also the Ancient Ancestor. I obtained part of the Ancient Ancestor's memory and will, to guard the ancient clan and the descendants of the imperial families. My appearance slowly changed after absorbing the memory and will." Guu Dao's voice was low. "The maximum distance you can leave should be this place. Rumors say that you killed a Grand Empyrean in the Celestial clan, but that should be misinformation. It should be that they invaded past the center of the vast sea, so you killed them." Wang Lin's mind was suddenly filled with clarity. He had just obtained answers to a lot of questions he had. He was confused because with Guu Dao's cultivation level, he could easily destroy the entire Celestial clan so that no Celestials remained, but after countless years, the Celestial clan still remained. You obtained the Ancient Ancestor's memory and will. You should have also obtained some restrictions along with the inheritance. Wang Lin looked at Guu Dao and let out a sigh. "When I changed completely, I felt the restriction. I can't go too far from the ancient clan, and once I do leave, all my power will disappear." Guu Dao was very calm, showing no helplessness or bitterness. "Why do you want to stop me from leaving?" Wang Lin asked this question once more. Guu Dao shook his head, and instead of answering Wang Lin's question, he murmured to himself, "After I obtained the Ancient Ancestor's memory, I slowly felt something throughout the countless years, a few things. I can't understand, I can't believe, but they are very real." Guu Dao let out a sigh as he looked at the earth and toward the ancient clan. "Perhaps it's real, perhaps it's just an illusion." His eyes were filled with decisiveness. "Let's battle. If you win against me, I'll have no power to stop you and you can leave. I can feel that you haven't used your full power, and now I won't hold back anymore either. I have the 2 strongest spells. One is the Ancient World. In the memory of the Ancient Ancestor, he was born from the void. He always believed that his eyes could become the sun and moon, that his blood could become the rivers and seas, that his bones could become the mountain ranges, that his hands put together could become the sky, and his body could become the earth. With his faith and thoughts, he used his life force to create this spell, Ancient World. I have never used this spell since obtaining the inheritance. Today will be the first time, Guu Dao slowly said as he looked at Wang Lin. Wang Lin silently pondered for a moment and his gaze met Guu Dao's gaze. In the ancient Sha ancestral temple, I saw a figure, and that figure took a step to trample the heavens. That step shocked me greatly. On the fifth bridge, I was immersed in a reincarnation-like world. I don't know how much time passed, but aside from comprehending the 8 extreme Dao, the thing I comprehended the most was that step. Originally, I couldn't walk past the fifth bridge, but with that step, I was able to cross it. This step, I'll call it the step to trample the heavens. As he muttered this, his eyes were filled with decisiveness. Since this battle couldn't be avoided, he would battle until the end. After hearing Wang Lin say that he had passed the fifth bridge, Guu Dao pondered for a moment. He then raised his right hand and waved. If you can resist this spell, then you are qualified to witness the spell that I have spent countless years studying. One Dao Heaven. With this wave, countless specks of light gathered behind him, and just a moment later, a light shadow appeared behind him. This light shadow was shrouded in light and one couldn't see its appearance. However, after it appeared, it opened its mouth and inhaled. A large amount of power of the world was rapidly pulled in. This inhale instantly covered millions of kilometers, and even the entire vast basin was covered. Endless power of the world was absorbed and the light shadow expanded. The inhale power expanded toward the Celestial Clan and the Ancient Clan. In the area near the vast sea on the Celestial Clan's side, the 4 Celestial Grand Empyreans all stopped. They looked into the distance and felt like they were going to lose their wits. Similarly, the same thing happened on the Ancient Clan with Song Qian and company. They felt the powerful sucking force pulling the power of the world toward the vast basin. At the center of the vast sea, the light shadow rapidly expanded as it absorbed the power of the world. It was more than 100,000 feet tall and was still growing. In just a few moments, Wang Lin could no longer see the upper body of the light shadow, he could only see its legs. Wang Lin gasped. He didn't know how tall the light shadow would become, but he could imagine that if one looked from outside the immortal astral continent, one would see a giant standing there. It pierced through the heavens. Ancient ancestor, Wang Lin watched the light shadow continue to expand. He didn't know how large it would become. Perhaps if given enough power, it would become like a star system. It would continue to expand until all the power of the world on the immortal astral continent was absorbed. However, just its current size was enough to give Wang Lin indescribable pressure. Ancient world, Wang Lin looked at the sky and his divine sense spread out. He felt a strange scene. This large light shadow's eyes changed. One eye became the bright sun and one became the moon. The blood that flowed out of it gradually became the rivers and the seas. Its hands rose up and turned in the blue sky. Its body fell and became the earth, then its bones became mountain ranges. As Wang Lin watched all of this, he suddenly felt intense pain from his eyes. It was as if a great power wanted to extract his eyes to make one the sun and the other the moon. His hands also trembled and seemed to rise into the air to become the sky. His body was also pulled by a strange force to become the earth. This was a faith spell. An extremely powerful spell where when one's faith reached a level that could change the world, time, and space of everything it enveloped. Under this faith, Wang Lin took a deep breath and gradually closed his eyes. He no longer considered how to break this spell, but closed his eyes. The figure on top of the mountain where the 7-colored snow fell that was holding the body appeared in his mind. The figure roared at the sky and took that step toward the sky. This step continued to appear in his mind countless times. Wang Lin's right foot slowly rose and he took a step toward the world created by the ancient ancestors' faith. With this step, Wang Lin had the illusion that he was the figure holding the body and roaring at the sky. An indescribable sense of sadness appeared in his heart. It was as if his heart was being carved out. He seemed to have forgotten that he was battling against Guu Dao and that he was going to return to the cave world. The only thing that existed in his mind was endless sorrow, despair, and anger. This anger made Wang Lin's foot suddenly land. One step to trample the heavens. With this step, Wang Lin's anger surged out through his right foot and smashed onto the world. At this moment, he reached an unimaginable realm as he trampled down on the heavens. The entire world seemed to be below his feet, all life seemed to be below his feet. Whether it was laws or rules, everything was destroyed by this step. Large amounts of cracks appeared in the sky with that step and countless fragments scattered, causing the sky to disappear. The sky collapsed. When Wang Lin's right foot landed and he raised his head, the earth shattered. The sun and moon disappeared, the rivers and seas dissipated, and the sky and earth forming this ancient world all collapsed. Guu Dao's body trembled and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. He staggered back more than 100 steps before he stopped and his face turned pale for the first time. Heaven Trampling Realm. This is the complete Heaven Trampling Realm. He was shocked as he looked at Wang Lin. He felt like a terrifying power was awakening. As Wang Lin stood there, everything that had happened was like an illusion. His eyes remained closed for a long time before he slowly opened them, and the trace of sorrow still remained. He looked at the sky for a long time. After one incense stick of time, Guu Dao looked at Wang Lin with a complicated gaze and slowly said, "Which bridge did you walk past?" "The 7th bridge, then I failed on the 8th. Wang Lin closed his eyes as if he wanted to keep the sorrow. "The 7th bridge," Guu Dao smiled bitterly and he looked at Wang Lin profoundly. He clearly felt the intent to trample the heavens in that step. This intent was the ultimate expression of faith. With his current cultivation level, he was unable to take that step. "Perhaps I might really not be able to make you stay." Guu Dao took a deep breath and the complication in his eyes turned into determination as he continued, "However, I can't give up like this. I spent my entire life pondering One Dao world. I call it One Dao world because it's made from my faith in the ancient clan. I may not be as strong as the ancient ancestor, but my faith is different from his. He had faith that he could turn into the world, and because of this faith, I could not leave the ancient clan. Perhaps in the ancient ancestor's mind, the land of the Celestials was not a land formed by him, but a place he hated. My faith is to believe that the sky cannot cover my eyes, that the earth is unable to stop my body, that the sun and moon and the entire immortal astral continent are unable to stop my heart. With One Dao world, my heart is the Dao, my Dao tramples the heavens become stairs, and I trample the heavens to see the truth." After Guu Dao spoke, he waved his hand at the sky. The sky rumbled and a huge vortex enveloped the entire vast basin as if it was the end of the world. Guu Dao's right hand pointed at Wang Li. "You are the heavens." Guu Dao's voice echoed like thunder and a powerful faith surged. As he pointed, ripples appeared around Wang Lin. Wang Lin felt something, and he looked up to see a giant foot appear from the vortex, trampling down toward him. After 200 years, Wang Lin once again felt a life or death crisis. People who were half a step into the heaven trampling stage were shockingly powerful. Wang Lin had comprehended the heaven trampling step from that familiar figure. Guu Dao had used his amazing wisdom and countless years of faith to comprehend his own heaven trampling Dao. All living things want to trample the heavens. Those that can't succeed have no faith, no will. This was engraved before the 8th bridge, and Wang Lin had seen it the second time he had gone to the heaven trampling bridges. At this moment, as he looked at Guu Dao, this sentence appeared in his mind. He suddenly understood something. Everything in this world, whether it was humans or beasts, even spirits, all had the intent to trample the heavens. Just like how he had answered Li Qianmei's 3 questions back in the cave world, the world was a circle, and outside that circle was another circle. Very few people are extraordinary from birth. All living things in the world desire to be extraordinary. They desire freedom so they won't be controlled by others. The law of this world is a circle. The strong preying on the weak in the cultivation world is a circle, and this entire world is a cage-like circle. The bright sky and the starry sky are also circles. Walk out of his circle, walk out of more circles until you tramples the heavens. Take the last step among all living things until nothing covers your eyes and you are no longer confused. This is the true meaning of walk the path of true Dao in the Dao scripture. Wang Lin murmured as he looked at the huge foot falling down from the sky. He vaguely understood, he vaguely had an enlightenment. Life and death, karma, true and false. If life and death were a rope, countless lives and deaths would connect together to form circles. These countless circles would form a net, and that net would be karma. This large karma net would be used to catch oneself in the river of reincarnation. The river of reincarnation contains true and false, and only with a pair of eyes that can see through true and false can one throw the net to fish oneself out. After I completed my true and false essence in the Wang Lin sect hundreds of years ago, I sensed the reincarnation essence. However, over the past hundreds of years, I still couldn't understand what reincarnation was. What is reincarnation? I originally thought it was a law that covered the afterlife. That was until the appearance of the ancient Dao imperial teacher. No matter the reason, he revealed that to truly resurrect Wan, I need to use the power of reincarnation in the immemorial God realm. At that time, I was puzzled. What is the power of reincarnation? I thought it was a law of the world. Now I finally understand. Reincarnation is the heavens. I'll use my hands to cast this net of karma to the heavens to fish out my true self. Is this the meaning? Wang Lin's mind rumbled. All of these thoughts appeared in an instant and completely occupied his mind. At this moment, he understood. Inside his body, another wisp appeared next to his three ethereal essences. This wisp was the reincarnation essence he had comprehended. So it's like this, Wang Lin silently pondered as the large foot rumbled above his head. It was only 1,000 feet away now. However, at this moment, a strange sound forced its way in and echoed throughout the world. It was the sound of wind. It was the song of the ancient clan. I was the first of the 9 songs, and after it appeared, all 9 songs followed. It was sky, earth, wind, thunder, cloud, rain, internal organs, body, and the final blood song. The song echoed violently from the heavens, from Wang Lin's body, and from the world. The descending foot seemed to slow down under the 9 songs. The wonderful feeling of this music was indescribable as it echoed across the world. When all 9 songs were playing, a sign appeared in the sky. Golden sky, black earth. The golden sky and black earth looked like an illusion, but they appeared clearly before Wang Lin. Guu Dao's heart trembled when he saw this. After the first sign, Wang Lin's eyes revealed silver light. This light was endless, and it was the second sign. The 9 songs and 3 signs had appeared on Wang Lin's body back on Mount Guu Dao. However, back then, they were incomplete, a sign and a song were missing. In the ancient Dao palace, they had appeared for the second time. The 9 songs were there, but one of the 3 signs was still missing. Now, at the center of the vast basin, on the side of the sea storm, an underground empire in Guu Dao's one Dao world, the 9 songs and 3 signs appeared for the 3rd time. However, this 3rd time still only had the 9 songs and was missing the 3rd sign. It was as if something was missing, like one key part was needed. Wang Lin raised his head. What he looked at was not the big foot that seemed to have stopped 1,000 feet from him. Instead, his gaze seemed to penetrate the spell, and he looked at the void beyond the sky. At this moment, his mind was clear and he seemed to have understood what he was missing. Void Avatar, descend completely and fuse with me. What he was missing was being born from the void and being recognized by the void like the celestial ancestor and the ancient ancestor. In the void of the immortal astral continent, which was filled with laws, there was a large stone. Inside the stone sat a figure that had been sitting there for hundreds of years, close to 1,000. At this moment, he seemed to hear a call and opened his eyes. His eyes were shining brightly and he looked exactly the same as Wang Lin. He was Wang Lin's avatar in the void. When he opened his eyes, the stone he was in shattered in all directions like pieces of an eggshell. The figure stood up and took a step forward before disappearing without a trace. On the immortal astral continent, in the vast basin next to the sea storm, as Wang Lin's voice echoed, a person walked out of the vortex in the sky. This person took a 3rd step. Guu Dao was shocked as he watched this person go to Wang Lin. Then their bodies overlapped and they fused. The moment they fused, Wang Lin let out a roar at the sky. This roar was heaven-shattering, and the echo of the roar went through a strange change. It sounded like a baby was crying. The sound of a baby crying echoed through the vast basin and entered the ancient clan. As it spread to the 3 imperial capitals, a crack appeared on each of the 3 ancient ancestor statues. It spread into the celestial clan, and a crack also appeared on the celestial ancestor statue in the ancestral city. Endless energy erupted from the earth of the ancient clan and turned into figure. This was the ancient ancestor. In the celestial clan, endless energy erupted from the land and condensed into a second figure. It was the celestial ancestor. Their 2 figures could not be seen by ordinary people, only Grand Empyreans could feel them. In the vast basin, a 3rd figure suddenly appeared. This figure surpassed both the celestial ancestor and the ancient ancestor as it rose into the sky. 9 songs and 3 signs. The 3rd sign is the baby's cry, Guu Dao muttered to himself. The sky, earth, wind, thunder, rain, cloud, internal organs, body, and blood songs echoed. The 3 signs, golden sky and black earth, silver eyes, and the baby's cry. The 9 songs and 3 signs had many legends on the immortal astral continent. However, the root of almost all these legends was that when the 9 songs and 3 signs appeared, the celestial ancestor or ancient ancestor would have an inheritor. At this moment, in the celestial ancestral city and the ancient clan's 3 imperial cities, cracks appeared on the celestial ancestor statue and the ancient ancestor statues. At the center of the vast basin, Grand Empyrean Guu Dao personally witnessed the legend appear before him. At this moment, the figure that had appeared above the ancient clan stood there and let out a roar at the other giant figure that had appeared over in the celestial clan. These 2 figures seemed to support the heavens, but in between them, a 3rd figure appeared. The moment this figure appeared, a bright light filled the world. This figure belonged to Wang Lin. That figure was Wang Lin. A 3rd existence besides celestial and ancient. Wang Lin's eyes were closed. When his avatar in the void fused with him, the fusion of celestial and ancient powers, which had only completed a single cycle in 100 years, suddenly accelerated. At this moment, it completed a cycle and created a power that would only appear when celestial and ancient powers fused. Wang Lin vaguely gained an understanding that once his ethereal essences were complete, his celestial and ancient powers would fuse completely. From then on, there would no longer be celestial or ancient power in his body, just his own strength. At that time, he would have enough strength to throw the karma net into reincarnation and find his true self. He didn't know how much time had passed. It felt like an eternity had gone by, or maybe only an instant. Wang Lin opened his eyes, and when he looked up, he saw the foot from Guu Dao's spell. It seemed to have lost its power to bind him as it descended. When it was hundreds of feet from Wang Lin, he let out a sigh. After fusing with his avatar in the void and causing the 9 songs and 3 signs to appear, his cultivation level was beyond all existences on the immortal astral continent. Even if the celestial ancestor and ancient ancestor were here, he would be qualified to fight them. From now on the immortal astral continent, aside from the legends of the celestial ancestor and ancient ancestor, there would be Wang Lin's footprints as well. In Wang Lin's view, Guu Dao's current spell had just grasped the edge of the heaven trampling stage. He silently pondered, and when the giant foot was only 100 feet away, he pointed at it. With this, the giant foot trembled and collapsed into countless pieces before Wang Lin. A powerful storm caused the fragments to dissipate from the world, dissipate before Grand Empyrean Guu Dao's eyes. Guu Dao silently pondered. His face became even older and a trace of fatigue and relief surfaced. I can't stop you. But I hope that in 300 years, when the immemorial God realm opens, you will enter from the ancient clan side. Guu Dao looked at Wang Lin as he clasped his hands and bowed deeply. Wang Lin silently pondered. He looked at Grand Empyrean Guu Dao and then nodded. Thank you. Guu Dao opened his eyes, and when he did so, he returned to normal. Fog surrounded his body once more until it covered him completely. The fog churned and took him back toward the direction of the ancient clan. Wang Lin looked at where Guu Dao had gone until the fog and thunderous rumbles disappeared. He turned toward the sea storm and stepped toward it. After passing through the storm, he would be at the edge of the Celestial Clan and would soon arrive at the Celestial Clan. This battle ended when the two departed. In this battle, Guu Dao had lost, so the title of strongest on the immortal astral continent no longer belonged to Guu Dao, but to Wang Lin. However, aside from the Grand Empyreans rushing over, no one else even knew it had happened. On the 12th day after Wang Lin left, a total of 7 rays of light arrived from both sides of the sea wall and revealed 7 people. These 7 people were the 7 Grand Empyreans of the immortal astral continent. They all knew each other, but even though they belonged to 2 different camps, they didn't want to fight. Instead, they all spread out their divine senses to observe the area and silently pondered. Guu and the others didn't walk past the sea wall, nor did they take a step to enter the ancient clan, but this didn't affect their divine senses. Xian Luo closed his eyes. When his divine sense spread out, his body trembled. This battle must have been heaven-shattering. Even though it had ended, the changes in the laws still remained. The remains of this battle won't disperse for hundreds of years, Song Qian muttered to himself. He also felt the shocking power and fluctuations of law from the battle that had taken place here. There was also the mysterious ancient G Grand Empyrean. He wore a mask that hid his appearance, so one could only tell that he was a man. He stood there with shock in his eyes. Who was battling Grand Empyrean Guu Dao? But no matter who it was, Grand Empyrean Guu Dao must have won. Could it be Wang Lin? Xian Luo opened his eyes. He was a bit uncertain. Inside the sea wall, the 4 Grand Empyreans from the Celestial Clan all silently pondered. They withdrew their divine senses. They could not imagine what kind of battle had occurred here several days ago. I shouldn't be him, Dao Yi pondered. He battled against Guu Dao and left behind such a shocking battlefield. If I had witnessed this battle, it would have helped my cultivation greatly, Guu also sighed. He had doubts about who had fought against Guu Dao. Was that person really Wang Lin? Wu Feng looked at the battlefield with a complicated expression. The laws of the world here had collapsed and were in complete chaos. It was impossible to get a clear look or gain anything. In truth, the reason they had come here, aside from feeling the shocking change in the law here, was to personally witness the battle. However, it was obvious that doing so wouldn't be possible. As for Grand Empyrean Gemini, the 2 little girls had long fused into a beautiful woman. She remained silent, and even she had doubts about the person who had battled Guu Dao. Time passed. The 7 of them paused here for an incense stick of time. The 7 of them looked at each other, which caused the atmosphere to become depressing and contain killing intent. While all 7 of them were pondering, Guu suddenly spoke. 3 fellow ancient clan cultivators, this old man has a suggestion. After he spoke, Song Qian and the others coldly looked over. If we were to fight, there would be no conclusion in a short period of time. The 4 of us won't step past this sea wall, so there is no need to fight. You all came with the intent of viewing the battle. However, the battle is already over and the laws here are in complete chaos. According to my calculations, the world here will collapse completely in a few days and become a dead zone. At that time, the rest of us will lose the chance to perceive the details of this battle. We will also lose the chance to view this battle. This old man has a spell, and I'm confident that with the 7 of us working together, we can temporarily reverse time. Then our divine senses would be able to enter and we could personally witness the battle. I wonder, what do the 3 of you think of this? Guu slowly asked. After Guu finished speaking, Wu Feng pondered a bit and spoke as well. This old man just wants to see that scene. I have no other intent. I can make a faith oath. I can also make a vow. Dao Yi hesitated a bit as he looked at Guu and Wu Feng before nodding. As for Gemini, she pondered a bit and agreed. Song Qian's group looked at each other and, after pondering a bit, agreed as well. At their cultivation levels, their words were credible. The 3 of them also had their own methods, so they were not afraid of Guu lying to them. After half an incense stick of time, the 7 of them were prepared. Guu took out a jade and let the other 6 look at it. They all formed seals and began the spell. 7 rays of light shined and surrounded the battlefield. A moment later, a thunderous rumble echoed and the 7 of them looked over. They gradually saw 2 figures appear inside the light that covered the battlefield. One of them was Guu Dao, who was covered in fog, and the other person was also blurry, but the 7 of them could recognize the aura. Wang Lin. It really was him. The 7 of them were shocked, but what they saw after this made them all dumbfounded and filled with disbelief. They saw Guu Dao's spell and Wang Lin's one step to trample the heavens. Finally, they saw Wang Lin pointing forward, causing the giant foot to collapse, and Guu Dao quietly leaving. Guu Dao's appearance and what he had talked about with Wang Lin was not something the 7 of them could hear or see. However, what they had seen already made the 7 of them stop breathing. Even after the scene ended, the 7 of them silently pondered for a long time. They all knew that the immortal astral continent was different now. The strongest person on the immortal astral continent was no longer Guu Dao, but Wang Lin. Dao Yi's heart trembled. He was a grand Empyrean, but he felt fear. Wang Lin's strength made him feel disbelief, but even more so, he felt fear. Was it him, in Jidu's mind, the gaze that seemed to have descended from the sky 100 years ago when the 72 souls all begged toward the sky resurfaced? This video will end here.